Hello everybody, I'm Raphael Perry and it's time for some more Bloodsword. At last we're turning to Book 5, the final installment in the series. Like Book 4, for me this will be a relatively blind playthrough. I flipped through a few pages to make sure there was nothing missing, all seemed to be there, saw a few words, caught a glimpse of a few pictures, that's about it. So, I'm going to do something a bit different this time round. I'm not going to use the old book. I'm going to use the new book. And the reason why I'm going to do that is that the new book includes some corrections to things that are wrong with the old book. It's not massive changes. It's more that the old book was not a final draft, that was accidentally published for some reason. And there were some changes and tweaks the authors would have liked to make to it, which have been made in the new volume. That being said, this little introduction here from the beginning is not in the new book. So let's dive into that. It is Midwinter's Eve of the year 1000. The great fear sweeps across the civilized world. Everyone knows that the day of judgment is at hand. It is 7 hours to doomsday. An arctic wind freezes your bones, but ahead of you lies a smoking chasm that goes right down to the glimmering fires of hell. You stand at the lip of the abyss which surrounds Spyte, the ruined fortress of the Lords of Craft. In the darkening sky above, 5 ominous stars have come into conjunction for the first time in 200 years. Out of the vault of the sky they cast their baleful influence across the frozen landscape, unearthly objects, but far from heavenly ones. They are the disembodied spirits of the last of the Magi, seeking to return to the mortal world at midnight and usher in a new era of terror. You wield the sole force in the world capable of destroying the Magi. The sword of life is mankind's only hope, but it is no guarantee of victory. The Magi have had 2 centuries of exile to plan their reincarnation. Their power has grown immeasurably since they last walked upon Middle-earth. You will need greater courage and strength than ever before, but you are determined to succeed in your sworn quest. You will prevent the Magi from bringing their unholy force back into the world, even at the cost of your own life. While I'm playing the new book, I will, for the most part, play the old rules. The new rules regarding disengaging from combat and a few other things are significantly different. I won't be using those. I will be using the optional rules presented here. Although, not very often. So, these are variations on the standard rules that you can use if you prefer. Instead of unlimited movement on the tactical maps, you move a number of squares equal to half your awareness. I'm going to presume that's rounding up. If killed in a combat that the rest of the party go on to win, a character returns to life with 1 to 6 endurance. I'm going to try to use this sparingly, or not at all. I've had to use it, I think, 3 times in the series so far across the first 4 books. If the whole party is killed, use the flee option for that section if there is one, and return to life with 1 to 6 endurance points each, so the party only dies if there is no flee option. I haven't used this rule once yet, and I'm going to hope not to have to. This introduction here appears to be exactly the same as this one here in the old book. And if it's different, I'm going to presume it's an improvement. So we'll go from here. It has been many years since you were given your quest by a mysterious troubadour whom you met in the forest of Southern Craft. As he lay dying after a murderous attack, he told you of the entities known as the True Magi, sorcerers of ancient times who died in the cataclysm of the city of Spyte. They became the 5 stars, small luminous objects visible in the night sky, and since that far-off day they have laid plans for a return to Earth at the end of the millennium. To the ruins of Spyte they will return, ruins that have stood dark and deserted these last 2 centuries, and from there they will spread their despotic rule over the lands of men, encircling the world in a sorcerous thrall that none can escape. To help you in your quest to prevent this, the troubadour entrusted you with the holy relic known as the Sword of Life, the Blood Sword. Its power is the only thing that will be able to destroy the reincarnated Magi. Its power and your own steadfast courage. Hey, this was from the beginning of the book, right? Oh! Wow. No, it's literally repeated. Okay, interesting. Now it is the year 1000. After many years of wandering across the world, you have returned to Craft to fulfill your destiny. In all the lands you have travelled through, plague and famine have cut a swathe through people's life. It is the time of the great fear. Everyone has become lethargic and terror-stricken, for it is known that the world will end at midnight on Midwinter's Eve. Then, as the clerics and theologians foretell, God will summon all the dead back to life for the day of judgment. Only a week ago you met a trader on the road who was frantically giving all his furs and silk gowns to the poor. "Sic transit gloria mundi," he said to you, eyes frantic with the thought of the judgment to come. "By distributing my wealth among these wretches, I make myself a pauper and secure a position in paradise. At the same time, by enriching them, I disqualify them from entry. This ensures that those of us who are admitted to paradise will not have to tolerate the company of unworthy peasants." His sentiments were typical of the venality and selfishness which many people are giving themselves up into in the extremity of their fear. You sense that God's judgment of such individuals has already begun. However, you have also encountered good people. As you journeyed northwards across the ice-locked wastes of Craft, many poor peasants have given you shelter and shared what little food they had. One told you of the Craftian folk tales concerning the Magi. "Since the blasting of Spyte, the world has been in a deep sleep. The dread gods are still there, and they will bring back their sacerdotes." I'm not sure on that word. "The true Magi, back from the heavens. We will awaken them back into the nightmarish tyranny of reality. All this will happen at the Midwinter Festival of this year, which is the 3125th year of the old calendar. So it is written." Another way of looking at things. The people of Craft are not of your faith, but many of them live virtuous lives all the same. The details vary in their belief, but all are agreed on the final outcome. The world will end at midnight on Midwinter's Eve, and that is tonight. And with that, we close the old book. I'm keeping book 1 open for spell reference. It may be nice to look at it for comparisons purposes later on, but I'm trusting this to be the updated and improved version. There is no place more desolate in all creation than where you stand now, before the walls of the city of Spyte. And there could be no more inauspicious time to reach this place, for today is the eve of the midwinter solstice, and the year is 1000 in the reckoning of your faith. A millennium ago, God came to earth in mortal form and sacrificed himself for the sake of man. Now he is about to return and pass judgment. If mankind has earned eternal paradise, God will bring this blissful state about on earth. But if the canker of evil is found to be strongest in men's hearts, evil will be left to rule the world forever. The return of the True Magi would assuredly tip the scales towards evil, so you must prevent their reincarnation for the sake of all mankind. Before you is a chasm that completely surrounds Spyte, like a moat which, for 2 centuries, has checked the spread of malevolent ghosts that must surely inhabit those baleful ruins. Men call it the cauldron, and say that at its bottom it touches the very roots of the earth. From its entrails, choking yellow plumes of sulphurous smoke pour up into the slate-grey sky. A savage howling gale whips around you, blowing stinging snowflakes in your eyes and cracking your lips with the cold. I should see if I've still got the Frozen Waste map. Go on, say it's the one I think it is. Yes, okay, excellent. Well, let's get rid of these. Tidy up VBL. Oh, wait, oh. Right, there we go. VBL is vision blocking layer. Oh. Where were we? I believe the 701 map, yeah. Copy, and move them over to here. As this much more clearly matches the description of our current location. Let's get the heroes up on a bit more solid looking land. There we go. Excellent. Your fingers close on the bloodsword's hilt. If you're to win victory at all, it will be only by the strength of this holy blade, forged by an archangel and tempered in the blood of the Saviour. The sword seems alive, singing with energy. Does it somehow sense the proximity of the Magi? Your eyes scan the heavens. The sun lingers low on the horizon, having climbed only half-heartedly into the sky during the day. Soon the 5 stars, which are the Magi's unearthly incarnations, will rise above the northern hills. Dusk is just a few minutes off, leaving you with perhaps no more than 7 hours to find your way into the city and locate the scene of the Magi's resurrection. We're probably not going to get very many opportunities to rest. You have one other problem to think about. A group of hunters you met yesterday told you they had seen another party heading towards the cauldron. These others were led by 5 wizards clad in the colours of the True Magi, and they carried with them strange instruments of sorcery. Even more sinister was the news that they had 5 slaves in chains whom they dragged behind them. You are sure these slaves are intended as sacrifices, and the wizards and their entourages are the mad disciples of the Magi, who are travelling to Spyte to be on hand for the return of their masters from the heavens. Perhaps the chained wretches are to be possessed by the Magi, who may need new bodies when they come. Now, as you approach closer to the dismal place, you see new laid tracks in the snow. They seem to peter out before the edge of the chasm. Somehow the disciples found a way across to the ruins ahead of you. No doubt they have taken full advantage of their lead to lay traps for you there. Your eyes sweep across the tundra. Curiously, some of the wretched animals that inhabit this Arctic wasteland have made their way here. You see the huge ice bear with its fierce porcupine quills of rime that can penetrate metal armour, the basilisk whose gaze freezes its prey to death, and the razor birds whose quills and talons are honed to a perfection of sharpness that the finest chrysanthemum steel can hardly match. These and less formidable creatures, small rodents and birds, have all congregated at the lip of the cauldron. Whether they have been drawn here by the simple need for warmth or by the magic of the solstice, you cannot tell. You turn to face the ruins. Spires and pinnacles rise beyond the walls of splintered basalt, perched atop a crag of fused rock in the midst of the smoking cauldron. How will you get across? Even as you ponder the problem, you become aware of a preternatural blue haze that has permeated the fading daylight. The first of the 5 stars has risen. Blue moon, the principle of unreality. And we no longer have the 2 blue eye gems because all items were stripped from us at the end of the last book. We are entering this book with a preset equipment list. The blue twilight fills you with unease. You remember with hideous clarity the events of a single night in the Draken Woods many years ago, the night you began your quest. Blue Moon was the first of the True Magi to become aware of you, and his sorcery almost ended your quest before it began. Dwelling thus on the events of your callow youth, you momentarily forget the years of battle experience you have endured since then. A chill runs down your spine. Suddenly an ice bear off to your right screams as if enraged. You turn quickly to see it rear up on its hind legs and stamp the ground frenziedly. The razor bird is flapping around, shrieking madly, while the basilisk's eyes are slowly opening. They seem maddened by your presence. As you back away, they turn and watch. Then the basilisk lets out a piercing howl, and the others take it as a signal. They are coming straight at you. We have a sage, and we're not afraid to use him. That's not 382, that's 378. The illusions of Blue Moon no longer bother such a seasoned campaigner as you. The attacking animals are merely images. The real animals remain staring impassively at the rising stars, oblivious to the presence of humans. Reassuring your companions, if you have any, you walk on to the edge of the chasm. This is 273, not 274. Will it go to the top of pages or to actual sections, these bookmarks? I suppose we'll find out as we continue. You are on the very edge of the cauldron. Looking down, you can just make out a few licking sulphurous flames thousands of meters below, where the single basalt block upon which the ruins of Spyte are built emerges from a dense cloud of belching steam. The stench of hellfire is overpowering, and you step back, covering your nostrils with your robes. You cast around for ways across the chasm as you slowly make your way around the vast perimeter of the cauldron. This was the top of the page, so who knows, right? You stand on the lip of the cauldron. There are 5 notable features that surround it, arranged equidistantly around the pinnacle on which the ruined city stands. Oh, the sage is here. Looks like it's linking to the top of pages. Obviously the 5 features correspond to the 5 True Magi, obviously. The mechanical bird is a device of white light. Plague Star must be responsible for the giant's corpse. The golden bridge puts you in mind of the devious stratagems of Gift Star. It seems like a gift indeed, this easy route across, but the gifts of this magus are rarely as pleasant as they seem. The dimensional portal is obviously connected with Blue Moon. The colour of the gems betrays their association with Red Death. Okay. On the edge of the chasm is perched a large statue of a bird fashioned in sparkling white metal. Below, through the clouds of steam, you can see the mouldering cadaver of a colossus. The narrow gold bridge stretches across to the ruined city in the centre of the cauldron. You see a blue shimmering in the air nearby. It has the look of a dimensional portal, and on the ground in front of it is a pile of weapons, armour, and equipment. There is a pile of red gems strewn on a platform that juts out over the lake. Each gem is the size of an egg. Okay, so white is white light. Plague Star for Giant's Corpse. Golden Bridge is probably well dodgy. We know Blue moon with dimensional portal. Blue moon is illusion and trickery. We should not trust it. For red gems, red death. So we don't go blue or red. White. What is white? Books. Old books. Go book 2. 2, sure. White light. The meaning of white light in astrological terms is as knowledge and consciousness, absolute and positive action that brings about permanent change. The word positive is dodgy there. Red death. Generally taken as a symbol of wanton carnage and terror. Nope. Blue moon. Mystery, paradox, illusion. Okay. Gift star. Luck could be good or bad, so kind of random. Plague star, diseases. If we can't climb down to that giant's dead body. No, I think we will go over to the statue of a bird fashioned from white metal. There is a bank of small levers and knobs behind the statue's head. It is not difficult to guess that this is one of the incomprehensible mechanical marvels that the Magi are said to have created. Not only that, but from the very fact that it was fashioned in the shape of a bird, you can easily imagine that it might be a flying machine. Just the job for getting you over to the ruins if you're prepared to risk it. We could decide there's too much danger in trying to operate a device we don't understand. Ariadne could summon a fountain, or we could just try messing with it at random. Let's summon the fountain and see what it says. It will want some form of payment, and it won't be nice. Ariadne will summon the fairy spirit. Let's see if it can help. Motivated as usual by empty-headed whimsy, the fountain appears wearing a cloak and headdress of white feathers. Ah, you have extended the scope of your interest to include the ingenious mechanical devices of the ancients, it says with apparent delight. Pray explain to me the operation of this one. That is precisely what I require of you. The fountain looks at the metal bird dubiously, but when it replies, it manages to contrive a tone of complete confidence. Of course, when I spoke just now, it was in jest. This device is no more than a child's toy to an intellect like mine. It pauses. I may need to fetch my manual on the working of mechanical contrivances in case I need to refresh my memory. You understand? Just so. Let's get the haggling out of the way first. Haggling? Haggling? It raises an eyebrow. Wherefore should we haggle? I shall suggest an absurdly small recompense, and you will take advantage of me by immediately accepting. Where is the haggling in that? Propose your bargain, and we shall see if there is need then for negotiation. In the past, some of my kind may have tried to force you into vexatious deals. The payments they have extracted have all too often been exorbitant, and the services rendered but trifles. Perhaps you have even felt yourself cheated at times. On this occasion, however, you have been lucky enough to summon a fountain with an almost mortal sense of equity. I shall not try to cheat you, nor, by the Ancient of Days, propose your bargain. The stars will not halt in their course through the heavens while you prattle away the hours to doomsday. The fountain affects an expression of studied tolerance at what it considers your bad manners. I will accept one of the Crimson Bat's gems, it says after a moment's thought. We don't have any Crimson Bat's gems, but that seems to tell us what the red gems do. Let's look at our options, and it would seem then that if we approach the red gems the size of an egg and take a closer look, We may then be able to give one to the fountain and hope we do not perish. If you have the code word chirurgraph, is it chirurgraph? Well, chirurgery is surgery. We don't have it, so you step out onto the platform to get the gems. You try not to glance down at the cauldron. The platform is only attached to the edge of the chasm along one side with no other support. As you are about to pick up one of the huge gems, a startling cry from above makes you look up. A crimson bat is flying out of the mist towards you, eyes flashing in fury as it sees you rifling its hoard. It has a wingspan of 20 meters, and each of its talons is as long as a sickle blade. It is a giant bat which we will... Oh, that is a very hefty endurance tally. A giant bat that we will fight. Oh, its damage isn't too bad. Okay. Oh, if it scores 5 or less on a fight roll, that could be bad for us. Okay. Noted. I presume that might grab one of us and chuck us off the edge or something. I'll go sort out a map. Back in a moment. Here is our map, and here is our bat. I think we should not fight it near the edge where only one of us can engage at a time. We should retreat back. I also think we should put Remy in first rank, probably for the entire adventure, because of his new improved dodging ability. Now, Remy and the bat go simultaneously. The bat will attack. Because Remy is such a hard target, the bat will require 3 dice to hit him. 13 is much higher than the 5, which will cause the bat to do something nasty. Remy will withdraw to here. Likewise, Sir Alwyn will fall back 4 spaces. Brother Kern and Ariadne will additionally retreat. This concludes the first round. Next round, Remy will defend, the bat will move in to attack him. The bat therefore will require 4 dice. Again, vastly reducing the odds of rolling a 5 or less. At which point, I did say Remy will defend, Sir Alwyn will come storming in to attack with his 2 attacks. First off, we shall attack with the blood sword. Hits on a 12 or less, I don't even need to roll. 4d6 plus 2 damage, we need this. 12 damage, I'll take it, okay? It's not the best, but it'll do. Brother Kern should probably get in there. And this is risky, but we'll try and attack anyway. 7 or less hits, yep. And 2d6 plus 1 damage. We are still perilously close to the edge. 9 points of damage reduces the bat to 56 endurance points. And Ariadne will prepare a... You know what? I was going to go sword thrust, but I think we'll go full nemesis bolt here. Try out her new magical mastery. Next round, Remy will attack. The bat will randomize its target left to right. It goes for the healer. Of course it does. So, we'll do the bat first, because Remy's not going to kill it in one turn. The bat rolls a 6. It's not a 5 or less. It's a hit. It's not very nice. Let's do some damage. 2d6 plus 2. Well, he's got 2 armor, so it's just a straight 2 dice roll, but I will factor it in. So 10 minus armor is 8 damage, reducing him to 22 endurance points. He will probably need to start defending now. Remy is not defending. Remy is attacking. And because... Ooh. Remy misses because he no longer has a magic sword. I was going to say, because the bat can do something very nasty if it rolls a 5 or less, Remy may need to use quick fighting here, an ability that has been rarely used since book 1. So Alwyn will remember that he had a second attack last turn and just roll that right now. Okay, fine. Now he will attack with the blood sword and hit for 4d6 plus 2. $23 points of damage. Knocks that down to exactly 23. No, it doesn't. 33. And he will punch it with an armoured gauntlet as well. Hits for 2d6 plus 2, right? Yeah. 8 more points of damage. Knocking it down to 25 endurance points. Good going. Brother Kern will defend. He's taken damage. It wasn't nice. Ariadne will attempt to cast Nemesis Bolt. Nemesis Bolt is a level 5 complexity spell, I want to say. Yes. But she now only rolls 1 die for her spell casting. So, 1d6 plus 5. Could still fail. She's trying for a 7. Failed by 1. That's pretty good going, all things considered. Next round, the bat will choose a target. It goes for our defending sage. So 3 dice. 13 misses. Remy will attack with his sword, which is sadly no longer the enchanted blade he once wielded, and miss. So Alwyn will attempt to pummel the living crap out of this thing. He will shoulder barge it successfully for 10 points of damage. Oh, it's dead. And then hit it with the blood sword for 4d6 plus 2. 19 points is 4-point overkill. The bat is no more. We will remove all targets from combat. We did not flee the platform. We killed the bat. Note the word shadowgraph on your character sheets. Okay. Notes. I'm going to presume the code words from book 4 no longer apply. I'm also going to copy that to everyone. Just in case I forget. The bat's body flops off the platform and tumbles down through the steam until you can no longer see it. You can take as many of the Crimson Bat's gems as you want. Each counts as 1 item for encumbrance purposes and must be worth around 1,000 crowns. Well, we want one. To activate, to give to a Faltin to tell us how to activate a device. And Remy is a greedy trickster and he will snag one as well. Probably a bad idea. It'll probably burn a hole in our pocket later. We can now go to the dimensional portal, the golden bridge, the giant's cadaver, or the white metal bird. We're going to the white metal bird. And we are going to summon a Faltin. And we're going to agree to give it one of these gems. Obviously, Remy's not going to give up his. Ariadne will gladly part with hers. Grateful to be rid of the thing. The Faltin reaches through a fold in thin air and pulls out a large silk-bound book. After briefly consulting the first few pages, it gives a thoughtful hum and motions for you to get onto the bird's back. When you are safely in place, it flits up beside the bird's head and twists one of the knobs. The bird gives a metallic squawk and spreads its wings. With a sickening lurch, it takes a series of jerky steps towards the edge of the cauldron. You have an instant of terror in which you are sure you're about to plunge to your doom, then the bird's wings start to sweep up and down. The fountain moves several of the levers, and you feel the bird rise swiftly. For a moment you cannot see anything because of the clouds of steam rising from the chasm below you. Then you are above the clouds. The last ray of the setting sun flashes on the bird's metal flanks. The ruins of Spyte are below you, and the fountain is guiding the bird down for a landing on a large open plaza beside the central citadel. Suddenly there is a shout from below. You see figures milling about. You count about 20 of them, disciples of the True Magi who have gathered here tonight for the reincarnation of their unholy masters, and you are about to land directly in their midst. We can tell the fountain to alter the control settings so that the bird hovers here in the mid-air above the plaza, or land and fight it out. What do we do here from mid-air? We hurl down spells and arrows upon them. They have wizards. 20 might be a bit much for us. Let's do that. Will it demand another payment? You don't want to land after all, then, says the fountain. Not immediately, you have to shout to make yourself heard above the clanking of the bird's metal wings. Hover here for a few minutes while I throw down spells of sheet lightning upon the Magi's disciples. You are still descending towards the plaza. The disciples are baying for your blood. Some of them are preparing arrows, while the rest have drawn their swords to attack as soon as you land. Death to the enemies of our heavenly masters, shouts one. The fountain glances down, then turns to you with a sly smile. Our bargain was originally a sheer matter of transportation from the lip of the chasm to the ruins. Now you want me to make the device hover. That is a more complicated procedure than flight. I must consult my book. Further payment may be necessary. What is it you want? If you didn't know the damned fountain was ethereal, you would strike the grin off its face. What do I want? It murmurs. I want the blood sword. Yeah, forget that. We could give it the blood sword. No, we can dismiss it and try and operate the bird. So no, just land. Land like we originally planned. Oh, very well, says the fountain when it realizes you're not going to part with the blood sword. I am prepared to accept your armor instead. No. Oh, will it abandon us here? We might find more armor. And in all fairness, Ariadne is rarely exposed to damage. Sure. This is an acceptable sacrifice. The fountain casts the armor down into the cauldron. You gasp in irritation. Why take what you do not want? Why not? It replies fecklessly. Humans do so all the time. But in fact, I shall fetch the armor later. Flicking a switch, it brings the mechanical bird to a halt in mid-air. Return the switch to the upright position when you wish to land, it says. Now farewell. With doomsday and the final dissolution of the mortal world scant hours away, I doubt if you will encounter me or others of my kind again. You watch it vanish back to its fey world. Delete the armor if you have not done so. I have already. On the plaza below, the disciples have gathered to shake their fists at you. Craven scum! You hear one of them shout. Your ancestors were all cowards, and you are the most cowardly of your line. Come down and fight. Oh, this isn't going to screw over the warrior, is it? It might. You sneer down at them. Their insults are too inept even to anger you. You feel only scorn and faint pity for such brainless zealots. You can attack them with arrows and spells. After 6 rounds, they will have had time to disperse into the cover of nearby buildings, or resolve your attacks. So resolve your attacks for those 6 rounds. Note down on your character sheets how many of the disciples are left alive after this time, if any, along with the word rout. For instance, if 3 disciples escape, you should write rout 3 on your character sheet. If no disciples survive after 6 rounds, you don't get the code word. Oh, mate. Full on 20. This is going to be fun. After they have all fallen or fled, you alter the controls so as to touch down in the middle of the plaza. Well, sheet lightning it is, I think. Okay. We will get rid of the bat. Add our heroes back into the initiative order. Window, initiative. Look, just Remy goes to the top. Done. Do I really want to make 20 enemy tokens? Sure, I can do that. Not that it'll matter massively. Right. Back in a bit. Here are our 20 cultists. And since there was mention of sheet lightning, we will have prepared that exact spell prior to round 1 beginning. This does reduce her psychic ability down to a 6. Would it be better? Sheet lightning is level 4. Would it be better to just go volcano spray every round? Quite possibly. But we've gone with sheet lightning, so let's do it. Okay, we're not even going to bother shooting arrows. Round 1. She attempts to cast sheet lightning. D6 plus 4. That's a success. Okay. 2d6 plus 2 is 10. Kills cultist level 1. 8 does not kill cultist level 2. 13 kills cultist level 3. 5 does not kill cultist level 4. And now we may start shooting arrows. 9 does not kill cultist level 5. Oh, you know what? Cultist level 6 also survives, but this is okay. Cultist number 7 takes only 5 damage. It's okay. Cultist level 8 is obliterated. Number 9. Ah, survives. 10. Destroyed. 11. Oh, survives. 12. Perishes. 13. Survives. It's okay. Don't worry. 14 does not. We should kill just over half of them at this rate. 7. We seem to be killing slightly less than half, all told. Number 16 also survives. However, those that do survive are heavily marred by the thunderbolts. 6. Okay, so this one survives. Of the last 3. Ooh, lots of people surviving with very little health left. Many subpar damage rolls. And finally, for the last one. So, our sheet lightning spell left 4, 8, 10, 13, 14 standing. Only 6 perished. But that's okay. On round 2, Ariadne prepares volcano spray. This would all be easier if she didn't have a nemesis bolt spell prepared. And on round 3, she casts it. Probably. 1d6 plus 1. Look. It is possible to fail. She did not fail. So, here comes the damage. He's dead. Ooh, one survives. Okay, we'll keep it up. 4, 2, 3, so 4, 2. Okay, this one also survives. Okay, 4, 2, so that dead and dead. Three, 5, 2. He survives. 5. Okay, and he survives as well. And then for the last 4, we have 3, 3, 2, 3. Okay. He survives. He doesn't. 3, 2. Those 3 die. So, by round 3, after the sheet lightning and the volcano spray, only 5 survive. Then on round 4, she'll prepare the same spell, and on round 5, it will be volcano spray time again. Unless she rolls a 6. She did not roll a 6, and Brother Kern and Remy will pick off any one of arrows if they need to. So, that is round 4, round 5, isn't it? Yeah. So that is 4, dead. 2, also dead, so I'll just take those 2 both off. 6, 6, 1. Ooh! Oh, and he... So 6 on 2, 6 on 2, 1 on 1. They are all defeated. And we return to a current psychic ability of 7 and only the Nemesis Bolt spell prepared. The improved spell casting granted for defeating the 4th book is very helpful. So, route 0. There we go. And now that Remy is our de facto dodging master, we will go back to him being at the front of the party marching order. We'll clear initiative, because presumably this will mean they ran away and were able to inform their masters. And the number of them will probably be added to another fight later on. Down we go. Oh, that didn't even link to the correct page. Interesting. I will need to be careful of these hot links then. You search for bodies of the disciples you have killed. Each of them carries a sword, and you also find 2 bows and 20 arrows. Roll 1 die. The number you roll is the number of flasks of healing potion that you find on the bodies. Each flask contains 1 dose of healing potion, which will restore 3 to 18 lost endurance points, also known as rolling 3 dice. 4 healing potions. We'll take 1 each. Thank you very much. And since this is a non-combat section, we will have Brother Kern attempt a 2-point healing roll. Which he loses. We're off to a flying start. You can drink at any time, but if you do so in combat, it counts as your action for that round. Remember to note down any items you take on your character sheet. This is in combat healing, something we have not had access to previously. Now you must find your way into the inner citadel that dominates the centre of the ruins. You start to investigate the nearby buildings for a way in. Most of the porticos have fallen in long ago, but you find one whose entrance you are able to clear of rubble. Inside, there is a wide stairway leading underground. Reasoning that there ought to be subterranean passages linking to the inner citadel, you descend. As this appears to... this is a non-combat section, I think we will try another 2-point healing roll here. We spend 2 points, we get back 10. So those 8 points will restore Brother Kern to 28 endurance points, and he is the only currently wounded party member. You enter a vast natural cavern that stretches upwards into the darkness as far as you can see. The opposite walls are lost in gloom, and the only illumination comes from sudden flares of yellow sulphurous flame that flicker around crevices in the rock walls. You are, you think, at the foundation rock of the ancient city of Spyte. Beyond the rock walls around you is the howling pit of the cauldron, and above you the route that leads up to the citadel. Even in these lower regions of their fortress, the Magi have made their presence felt. A strange, desolate garden of desiccated plants and crumbling statues occupies the centre of the chamber. Here the gases seeping through the wall crevices create an eerie rustling noise, unpleasantly reminiscent of a den of rattlesnakes. The centre of the garden is lost in gloom, where brittle-leaved cypresses rustle their withered boughs. Next to the garden you can see a deep pit cut into the floor of the cavern. A roaring gale hurtles upwards from this hole, occasionally throwing up heavy bits of debris, whole chairs, ornate shields, and boulders. These whirl around in the upper region of the cavern like autumn leaves before falling back to the cavern floor with a crack. You can dimly make out a prone body lying by the hole, its black cloak flapping incessantly in the air current. To the south you can see a shadowy trellis work of rickety wooden stairs zigzagging up into the darknesses above. Into the darknesses above. How many darknesses are there above? Occasionally the structure groans from the buffeting of the wind. On the north side of the chamber there is a wide set of ceremonial stairs leading up to a bronze door. We can investigate the garden, search the body lying by the air shaft, take a look at the edge of the air shaft, go up the rickety set of stairs to the south, go up the wide set of stairs to the north. This is 5 options again. And you know what, it's 20 past 2 in the morning, and I really should be going to bed soon, so I think I'm going to end the episode here. I hope you've all enjoyed this one, and I do look forward to seeing you all in the very next episode. I'll say goodbye for now though, and cheerio everybody. See you all soon.